this is absolutely crazy. One's life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. Come on. Obviously, Jesus doesn't know the world that we live in. We live in a world that has been transformed by capitalism, supply and demand, and we need demand. We have to have it. As Gordon Gekko said in the movie Wall Street, greed is good. Because of such greed, we live in the most prosperous time for the most people in all of history. We thrive in the abundance of things. Our ancestors went to market to buy a handful of things numbered in dozens. Now the average amount of things in the average supermarket in 2014, 42,214 different kinds of objects in our supermarkets. If you want to watch everything that's on Netflix, it'll take you 273 years to watch it. Who has that much time? If you can see. Every advertisement on TV suggests not only that their product is good, but in that product is life, abundance, fullness. So Jesus, come on. There is no way that this could be true. This is like saying that life is not carbon-based. This is like saying the earth is flat. We simply know certain things to be true, and our lives reflect that. We want abundance. We want more. The more, the merrier. Greed is bad. Greed's good. But what if Jesus is right? What if Jesus is honest? I kid you not. Here's a confession. As I was writing this sermon in a web browser, Google Docs, I had another tab open, and I was about to purchase something. And because of what I was preaching on, I had to close that tab. I was at checkout. What's ridiculous? Well, we'll get to what it was that I was checking out with, but I simply didn't need it. But if Jesus is right, if life is not found in the abundance of things, we need to listen up today. We're soaked in this. We're saturated by this. The amount of advertisements that hit our eyeballs and go into our ears just number in the thousands every day. How can we push back? How can we be salmon that swim against the stream? This is the stream of life among us. Abundance of things. And Jesus is saying there is another way we have to listen up. Let us pray. Lord, help us see your truth through Jesus Christ, who is the truth. Amen. That's interesting. I love this passage because it starts in verse 13. It's someone in the crowd. So Jesus is teaching the crowd, and someone in the crowd uses the opportunity. There's maybe a little bit of a silence, and this not joker, but he wants to use this opportunity to shout something out, right? I once was at a Garth Brooks concert. Does anyone remember Garth Brooks? He's the pop country singer. He was my first CD. Friends in Low Places was a big thing, and I just bought my first CD player, and it was my first CD, that album. I can't remember what the album's called. But I remember being at the one and only concert I ever went to with him, and he was like, "We're recording this for the live album." Yes, I want to be on that live album. So whenever the crowd would build down, I'd shout something crazy. I wanted to be like, I want to be that crazy guy that's shouting in the background. But then I thought, well, then they're not going to use this recording because of the crazy guy that's shouting whenever there's something. But there's a lull in the conversation. This guy shouts out an opportunity, right? People use opportunities like this. People will always say, "Hey, pastor, someone with authority, someone with moral authority, come here, be on my side. Let me use you for this argument in my family." So this guy is saying, "Jesus, you have authority. Help me resolve this financial issue in my household. Tell my brother, you have authority. Tell him, because he's not listening to me. Tell him to divide the inheritance with me." And we use this all the time. When I was training to be a chaplain in the hospital, a chaplain intern, I wasn't a chaplain, a chaplain intern, we had to shadow somebody, and I shadowed this wonderful lady, Chaplain Fran, and she was the most wonderful person up to a point. She had this wonderful personality, but if you pushed her if you took advantage of it, there'd be a time where she'd have to kind of put her foot down. So I was shadowing her, and we were called to this room where this wonderful, we had this wonderful issue come up. So we were called for a healthcare POA, power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney. And so we came to this room, and this woman was saying, yes, we need this power of attorney, da-da-da-da-da-da. We're like, okay, let's ask the actual patients if they want. And this woman was in hospice care, dying, but she was in the hospital for something. She was taken out of hospice, come to the hospital because of this issue. And this lady was having none of it. She's like, I'm going to live forever, get out of here. You know, and we're like, oh, okay. So we realized something else is going on here. The sister that's took care of this woman wants us to sign a power of attorney so she has control. But a healthcare power of attorney, people don't understand, isn't just a legal power of attorney. You're only able to decide healthcare related things. So power of attorney is saying, when I get knocked out and I can't make decisions for myself in the hospital, Lillian is my power of attorney. She can make those healthcare decisions. I've trusted her. I've signed a document for her to do that. A lot of people think that means that I have control of finances if they die or something like that, which is not the case. But we were in the middle of this situation where these family members, and then the other sister came, and then we had these talks and stuff like that. Fran was just like, she doesn't want it. I am here for the patient. She doesn't want a power of attorney. You guys have to go to a lawyer. Even the power of attorney that you think I have the power to give you is not that kind of power of attorney. It's not financial related at all. It's only for health. But they wanted to use the chaplain, get the chaplain on their side so that they could get power. And you think, where is life in that situation? A woman is dying. You are related to her. All you care about is her finances. And you see where Jesus is going with this? This is not life. This squabbling over family inheritance is not life. It doesn't consist in that greed. It's found somewhere else. But so often we use Jesus as an authority to justify our sin all the time. Maybe you're really angry with someone at church, and then you can pull up, well, Jesus flipped over tables. So I can get it. It's okay. Or, well, I'm a perfectionist and I demand perfection from everyone else, and I'm really an annoying personality, but Jesus said to be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect, right? Anything you want to justify, you can go and find. I'm very suspicious when someone says, but Jesus said, okay, here we go. You've got authority on your side. Now let me hear what you're trying to justify. Jesus is saying, but this guy calls out in the crowd, teacher, do this for me. Give me authority in this situation so I can control, so I can have more, so I can justify my greed. And I love how Jesus turns it around. He makes it a teachable moment. He's like, who made me a legal power of attorney? Who made me this person? And he switches it. He flips the script. And he says, take care, be on your guard. The Olympics are coming. Fencing has that French. Oh no, right? Be on your guard. Get ready. It's coming. Jesus has got some serious words. Be careful. It's coming. It comes at you from every angle. Be on your guard against what? Against greed. All kinds of greed. Why? Why is Jesus so against greed? What is greed? What relationship does greed have with the abundance of possessions? Greed, I think, simply is just more. Wanting more. Not wanting more because, wanting more for. No, wanting more, period. You hear about this sometimes, these experiments. I heard this experiments with different people coming through an office, and they have these candies that said specifically, these are for children who visit the office or the police station or whatever. And they found that the wealthier the people that came through there, the more likely they were to take that, even though it said specifically only for the children. Because if you want simply to have more, then any opportunity, even if it's a stupid one, of just getting those candies, the wealthier you are, the more you're willing to compete for a $100 prize, even though that's nothing for you and it can make a difference in the life of someone else. The more you have, the more you tend wanting more than someone else, there's usually a comparison that is related to greed. But greed, I believe, is acting as if life is a zero-sum game. That means that there is only a certain amount of resources. There will never be more than those resources. And so in order for me to have more, you must have less. So it's like if I gave my kids 4 quarters and I said, this is the only money you will ever have, ever. Then if my son wants 75 cents, the other son has to have 25 cents. Right? There's only so much in the system, it's always going to be zero. So I want more. You must have less. Because listen to the man in the parable. What should I do? For I have no place to store my crops. I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build larger ones. There I will store my grain and my goods, and I will say to my soul, everyone laughed at that, right? This guy even talks to his soul. What kind of guy is this? Soul? You have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, and be merry. We were talking about this in Sunday school. The human need for control, for safety, for not being vulnerable. This man is saying, I'm invulnerable now. I just need bigger barns to store all this. And no matter how many poor years of farming will come my way, I will have enough. Although I don't think enough is in the vocabulary of greed. Greed only wants more. Only ever wants more. The word enough is never in the vocabulary of greed. There's simply not enough. So this man is already rich. He already has land and people to work it. So in those days, being a landowner, you're rich. But he has a bumper crop, which is good. You have a lot of grain. So what will he do with it? It's like a rich man who wins the lottery, right? He's already rich, he's already okay, he's already fine, but he wins the lottery. What will he do with it? Now I think the big question in my mind when I read this passage is, Jesus really rips this guy, right? But I was reminded, and maybe you're reminded as well, about what about Joseph and Pharaoh? In the stories of Genesis, Pharaoh has a dream of these cows that get really fat, 7 fat cows, and then these 7 very skinny, famished cows come and eat the big fat cows. And Pharaoh is trying to find someone who can interpret this dream, doesn't know, and then Joseph comes up and says, I know. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to have 7 bumper crop years, and you better store them, because there are going to be 7 years coming after a famine. And you'll need to use those to feed and keep people. And that is the difference right there. So that it's not just get more, period. It's get more so that you might save people. So that your whole country can survive. Pharaoh's not saying, oh, I will do this for me so that I will be secure. Joseph and Pharaoh are saying, let's do this for the good of all. And even if you remember, the reason that Joseph's family comes to Egypt is to get food, right? The people of God, the original tribe, the original family tribes of Israel come to Egypt and are saved because of this. So more is not necessarily bad. More full stop, more period is better. Does that make sense? More so that, more for, more with a purpose is fine. If it's to save others, if it's to help others. We've been blessed as a church. We have been blessed with free time. And this Friday and Saturday, some people donated their free time, and the church, I'm assuming, pays for the meal that we prepared and we gave to homeless people. That's good. We've been blessed, and we use that blessing for something. We've been given more so that we can share. That is life not as a zero-sum game. If greed is true, if life is a zero-sum game, then I win only when you lose. Right? We talk about win-win situations. We want win-win situations. The zero-sum game, the creed of greed as a zero-sum game is for me to win, you must lose. I need more than you. It's comparison all the time. But imagine your relationships as a zero-sum game. I will be your friend only if it benefits me all the time. That sounds like the foundation of a healthy relationship. Gee, thanks. I think I'll find another friend. I will marry you, but I will make sure that I win every single argument and you lose every single one. Well then, let's call off the wedding. I will have kids only if they never inconvenience me and my life can still go on the way it always has. Good luck with that. That does not happen. See where this is going? Jesus is saying life is found elsewhere. Life is not found in the zero-sum game. And it's all about me and I need more and it has to be mine. This is where Jesus is saying we are to be aware. That greed and life are not compatible. For me to raise a child means I need to say less for me so that I can give more to my children. To be married in a healthy marriage means I have to say no to a lot of things, a lot of preferences, a lot of compromise needs to be made for that relationship to be healthy. Greed and life are not compatible. Now my examples might be stark, slightly exaggerated, but only slightly. Such life-destroying greed can happen anywhere with just about anything. And he says all kinds of greed. And there are as many kinds of greed as there are things in the book. So going back to my original confession, what was in my cart was a new GPU for my computer. So GPU is a graphics processing unit, and so in the graphics race game, you can, you have, just like TVs, you have 1080p. 1080p, was a huge, eye-opening, high definition, right? But now it's 4K. I don't have a 4K monitor for my TV, but in video games, you want to push as many pixels as possible. Not only that, you want to have as many frames per second to make it smoother. So I have a really old graphics processing unit, and I used to have this rule: I will not spend more than $150 on a graphics processing unit. The new ones just came out. They're just a little bit more expensive than $150. Yeah, I can still play my old games, but they don't look as good because they're not really as high definition as I could make them. And you read these forums and people are just pushing. I don't want just 30 frames per second. I want 60 frames per second. I don't want just 60 frames per second. I need a new monitor that does 144 frames per second, even though maybe the human eye can't really tell at that point. Seriously, it just goes on and on. There's always more. Oh, I bought 2 of these $1,000 GPUs so that I can actually render higher and down sample because there isn't a monitor that can actually process. It's just crazy. It's always more. I remember I got my own one and only speeding ticket when I think I was maybe 17 or 18. It was Father's Day. I'm like, what kind of gives out tickets on Father's Day? I was going to work. There's this new road that was just so smooth and it was not meant to be driven 45 miles per hour. So I was driving a little bit faster and I got my ticket. But to get that wiped off of my record, I went to the bad driver's class. I don't know if anyone else has gone to the bad driver's class, but it will wipe off it from your record if you go to this bad driver's class. And I remember the teacher saying that he's heard so many excuses from people over the years of why people break the speed limits. One person said, if my car is built to go 120 miles per hour, why should there be limits? Right? And I think that's the whole thing of greed. I can go more, why wouldn't I? I can have more. When I go to the bank, it doesn't say, oh, there's a limit to how much you can have. The bank wants you to have as much as possible, and that they want you to have more and more. Oh, my house is kind of getting filled up. Oh, there's a new house down there. There's new construction that gets more square footage. More is absolutely everywhere. I saw this picture of, I think it was Pittsburgh back in the 60s. Pittsburgh back in the 60s versus Pittsburgh now. The population hasn't changed much. The geographic area in which people live, though, has tripled. We live in a world more 800 square foot house. And it's very interesting, like 4 people could fairly comfortably live in that 800 square foot house. That always blows my mind because of the square foot race here in the United States. I mean, this is why a lot of our roads are deteriorating and all this stuff is we have all of this infrastructure needed because we need bigger houses. We don't need them. We want bigger houses. We want to move out to the suburbs. We want to have the nice, job downtown though and all of this stuff. We just keep spreading out, going bigger, the McMansions that pop up all the time. But do we need? Jesus is saying there is more to life. Life can possibly be a positive sum game, where the net stuff in here actually increases as we love one another, as we give of our time, as we sacrifice for one another. I mean, if there's any negative sum game, you think going to the cross was a negative sum, right? I am going to die. I'm going to lose everything, even my life. And Jesus says, but in there is life. It's going to benefit billions. This is Jesus' risk of being vulnerable so that there might be more for more people. Where a husband and wife make a marriage that blesses both parties, where parents and children mutually grow and shape one another into better human beings, where we use our blessings and our strengths to bless and strengthen others, give rather than receive. I think that's what Jesus means when he says, be rich towards God. There's a Forbes article written by Mark Orozowski, who said there is a Wharton professor, Cassie Mollinger, who wrote in the Harvard Business Review that her research found those who volunteer their time feel like they have more of it. This is similar to other research showing that people who donate to charity feel wealthier. What? You mean being generous instead of greedy makes you feel less greedy? Makes you feel like you have more? Who would have thought? Jesus. This is what Jesus is saying is as you give life, as you are vulnerable in giving life, you will feel more. As you give of your time, as you give of your money, you feel better, you feel more. Because, as Jesus said in this short parable, no one knows how long we have. No one knows. We have today. Hopefully all of you make it home safe. Hopefully all of you live until you are very old, gray-haired and everything. I hope that for all of you. I pray that for all of you. But we don't know. We don't know the time we have. And so all of this planning of, I will use today to secure the years and years ahead. That greed, that gives you false security. Jesus said, security is in God. Leave it to God. Risk it today. Give today. Sow today. Die today to yourself. And in that, be rich towards God, because that can never be taken away from you. There's no U-Haul on a hearse, right? You've heard that sound. You can't take it with you. So why try? Why try to hoard when we can give, when we can sow, life contentment? There is no place for greed in life because greed sucks the life out of life. It changes life into a zero-sum game where I must win and you must lose. Going back to the intro, I don't want to throw capitalism under the bus. I think capitalism, for the most part, has been a positive sum game. I mean, this is extreme poverty is on the way out. We have reduced extreme poverty in the world. There's still a lot of poverty, but extreme poverty is really going down a lot. The world is getting better in so many ways, but I think we can say pretty confidently that there is greed in a lot of it. I think Bernie Sanders' campaign does not make sense without us understanding that something is wrong. CEO pay is just off the charts. As Bernie Sanders always says, all this new wealth is going towards a very select few people and is not very well distributed. We can do better, and we should do better. We can make make this world a positive sum game, and it starts with us. And it doesn't start necessarily with a change of heart. Well, I don't feel generous, so I just won't be generous. No. I don't feel like giving today, so I'm just not going to give. No. As we see, as you give your time, you will feel like you have more time. As you give of your finances, if you give in your relationships, you will feel like you have more. So it's a change of habit. So give more money, not just to church, but other organizations. Give more time, not just to the church, to people in your life who need it. Buy someone a meal sometime. Spend time with others. It isn't your time. It isn't your money. It's not my time. It's not my money. It's all a gift from God. And so be rich towards God. Greed isn't good. It takes life instead of giving. As I said at the beginning, this message is hard for us. These graphics processor units are selling out like crazy, and I had it in my cards. Newegg was taking $25 if I used PayPal off, so it was going to be even cheaper. No tax here. It's hard. This is the world we live in. These are the forums I read. These are the things I've been looking forward to as a purchase for a long time. It's not easy, and I have not bought it yet. And I need to delete some in-stock notifications too. But we have to go against the stream. If we're just like everyone else, we have to show the world another way. There's a way to give more. We have to fight it with all that we have, because it is not easy. We must experience true abundance of life. This is what Jesus said. And ironically, a lot of churches you hear of the prosperity gospel, they use that. Jesus said that he's going to bring abundance to justify the kind of abundance that he's been giving here. Right? It's hard. We have to fight it with all we have. We have to show the world that there is life in vulnerability and having less and saying that that's enough. And sharing, blessing others. Let us pray. God, this is hard. You are speaking to an area in our lives in which we hear the opposite message all the time. It's a passage I don't even want to preach because it's so cross-cultural, so countercultural, but we are following the church calendar, and this is the text today. So we're forced. We're forced to confront this passage. So God, help us, give us strength. Give us an imagination that can think of another way. We were reading about disciples who had such a blockage of thought that they couldn't understand what you were trying to say. Help us, because we don't understand. We don't believe that there is life with less. There is life in vulnerability, that there is goodness in having enough. Forgive us, Lord. Forgive us. Based on this rat race, Lord. Help us to know